So she prayed. She said, you know what? I'm going to let you play football. She goes, don't play scared. But if you're going to do this, do it all the way. You know, do whatever. Be 100% in everything you do. Be all in every single thing you do.
I was waiting
So,
for you to say it.
Yeah, so be all in every single thing you do.
All right, here we are, and we're going all in with a new episode of the podcast, the first one with my guy, Jalen Matthews, and my guest host, Scott Martin.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
You ready?
Yep.
Let's do
What's
this.
up, buddy?
Let's do it.
So today we're going to talk all things football. We're going to talk about being more than the game. We're going to pick Scott's brain. I'm going to talk about what's important to me, what's important to all of us here, and just open this conversation. So first off, I'm going to start out with Scott. Thanks for joining me as a guest host. I've loved to get to know you and seeing where you're taking Shore Sports. So just kind of tell me where your passion came from for the sports media world.
I didn't know you were going to pick my brain.
I am.
So let's do it. Yeah, so kind of got into it through coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So, coaching baseball, following along, and kind of just jumped into it and tried to take that perspective of like knowing what coaches and what players actually want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Being directly involved with some of the players made it a lot easier because you got like real-time feedback on what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. So it's kind of evolved.
Mm-hmm.
The idea from when I first took it over to where it's at now is like probably like 25 iterations later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that there's a big future in what we're doing. So just working and plugging away.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've loved watching your content grow, and I love that you and I got to collaborate and take it to the next level by focusing on the athlete's mental and emotional health, which is awesome. And that's where Jay comes in. So I had Val Barnaby on the podcast, and you had liked it, and I wrote you a message, and I was like, oh, how do you know Val? And I was like, and you say you were committing to Rutgers, and we had a conversation, and I was like, hey, you want to be an all-in ambassador? You're like, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and then I thought I was going to have to pay him because he was like big time, and he's like, no, I don't need your money. I just love the platform. And I was like, this guy's for real. So Jay, what about like mental health and athletics really stands out to you that you wanted to be part of All In?
So a little bit about it. My mom, she's a mental health and she does her own mental health thing, for not even just athletes, but people, just regular people out there. And, it kind of always like stood out to me,
Mm-hmm.
you always have to be mentally grounded in something and mentally okay to be able to do your sport and be able to perform right, but even before games, they tell you not to go on your phone, get off social media, because it all has something to do with your brain. I want to go to school to be a sports psychologist. And I actually in high school right now, I took online classes for psychology, and everything. Your mind is like the strongest muscle in your body. If your mind doesn't want to do it and you convince yourself you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. And I believe as an athlete, before games and before anything you possibly do, you have to convince yourself I can do this. Mind over matter. So just when I line up on the ball, I'm just like I can do this. You're not beating me before I beat you. Even no matter how big the guy is. I mean, I'm 6'8", 350, but there's also guys who play that are just as big as well. And there's always someone bigger than you and stronger than you. But I take that and go, you know what? He's not beating me. And it's just your mind. It's definitely a big thing. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think what stood out to me when we were talking before, you specifically said you want people to know that you're more than an athlete. You are a student athlete, yes, but you're more than that. You're a theater nerd. You said you got them Hamilton roots.
Yes, sir.
So that's definitely, I think, super important for people to see because like I said, people make all these assumptions about who you are. They fill in the blanks about who you are. So kind of my opening to this is who is Jalen Matthews? Who is Big J? What does he represent?
Who's Jalen Matthews? I feel as though me and my mom actually talked about this recently. I feel as though for me to be able to say, do you know who I am? I'm Jalen Matthews. You also have to know who you are and who you are as a person and what you're grounded in. And ever since I was little, I went to church every Sunday, Wednesdays, Baptist church. So it was like 3 days a week, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night. Sleeping in the pews, doing all this. Being an altar boy, helping do communion. Even preaching. My uncle's a pastor, my grandpa's a pastor, so preaching was definitely a big thing for me. I always looked up to them. My mom prophesies, preaches. My dad, he owns a barbershop in Bricktown. He ministers. So that was definitely a big thing to me. But I say all that to say, being Jalen Matthews I'm a Christian. I'm a big brother to 8 siblings. I used to mow the lawn for like people. I used to shovel driveways. I won the nicest kid award in middle school. I wanted to be a police officer. I went to police camp in Bricktown I've always dreamed of being a cop. I used to arrest like uncles and stuff for doing stuff they shouldn't have done. But we lived in Barnegat actually one time, and I used to move around a lot too. We lived in Barnegat one time. And behind our house was Lexington. It was like the hood, but like our neighborhood, or the only thing that separated it was a fence. So before we moved in, there was people like doing parties in our house, but then once we moved in, it all stopped. But one time I was hanging out with my friend. These people jumped over the fence, and they weren't a part of it. And I grabbed his leg and arrested him. I was like, you shouldn't be doing this, and like just talk to him. But I'm a nice person. Until we hit the field. But like you were saying, what are you other than the field? I'm a nice person. I like to talk to people. I like to eat. I like hanging out with my girlfriend. I like hanging out with my friends. I love English class.
Really?
But yeah, I love something about it. Like people say they love math. I just love English. I love how the words can connect, and I love the words. Just every word, one word can mean multiple things. But
your English teacher's gonna love this.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, English is definitely a big thing for me. But yeah.
And tell us more about why you love Hamilton.
Oh, so Hamilton. So I'm in theater class. I've been in theater class since freshman year. I used to actually do plays in middle school. And middle school. I was in a play. My last play that I ever did, I was Cinderella's dad, and my coach's daughter was my wife in the play, and he was in the front row, and I looked down and saw him because like we were supposed to like fake kiss in the play, and I looked down and saw him, and I forgot my lines. So I go and because it's just like a really embarrassing thing because you see your coach and you're like, oh snap. Yeah, I can't do this. But Hamilton, I like the song Aaron Burr. I always wanted to go see one of their plays. It was just something like I remember my mom was at work one time and it was just me and my siblings at home. We used to like perform for each other, like the play and everything. But yeah, little theater nerd. But yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, honors theater class. So yeah, Dr. Penna. Yeah.
Now getting a little bit onto the field, you guys are undefeated. You're back-to-back state champions. You've had a lot of different experiences that a lot of kids only dream of, between being a state champion, but you've done it twice,
yes,
being recruited to big time schools,
yes,
big time commit to Penn State, decommit, now Rutgers. And you've experienced a lot of good things. And I'm sure that comes with bad things as well,
yes,
but there's a mental toll that kind of comes from that. So
definitely.
If you could just kind of talk about not only this season, but your career at Toms River North and what led you down that road towards Rutgers and the recruiting path that you took, and kind of just incorporate some of the mental stuff into it.
Definitely. So Rutgers, we'll start with that one. So I played football. I started football 8th grade year. My mom didn't really want me to play when I was little. I always wanted to play. Like I wanted to play Pop Warner football in Lakewood. That was some hard hitting football in Lakewood back in the day when I was like 5. But I always wanted to play football. Always wanted I started watching football, Green Bay Packers, right? Clay Matthews. I always wanted my name on the back of a jersey.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
I'm a Packers fan.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Always wanted my name on the back of the jersey.
Playmakers.
Yep. Clay Matthews always wanted it. Wanted my hair long like him, everything, but it's just because his last name, right? But so I wanted to play football. She wouldn't let me play. Like I said, a big Christian guy. So she prayed. 7th grade, she prayed. She was like, you know what? I'm gonna pray. We'll see how it goes, and we'll answer from God. We'll do whatever, right? So, she prayed. She said, you know what? I'm gonna let you play football. She goes, don't play scared, but if you're gonna do this, do it all the way. Do whatever. Be 100% in everything you do. Be all in every single thing you do.
I was waiting
So
for you
yeah,
to say it.
yeah. So be all in every single thing you do. But yeah. So she prayed. I was in practice. All in. Don't be late. Be on time. If they say run, they ask them how long. If they say jump jacks, you jump how high? Because my mom is just the type to be all in every single thing she does. Be 100% in everything she does. She would never. If she was cooking food, she'd cook every single thing. She'd cook a big pot. She wouldn't cook this little pot for 5 people. She'd cook a big pot for 18. But I played football. So 8th grade year, I went to a camp in New Brunswick, Rutgers, and Coach Susan. He saw me at the camp. I thought I was doing okay. Some other kids didn't think I was doing too fine, but I went with Coach Amir Dew. He played at Toms River North, and the whole recruiting process started. I met Coach Susan. Our relationship started. I met Coach Giano. I was 13 years old at the time. Then he called Coach Oz, my now head coach at Toms River North, and goes, "Yo, there's this kid. He came to our camp. Do you know about him?" He goes, he was supposed to go to East, but I wanted you to have him because why waste talent? And he goes, "We're gonna try to get him." We did possibly everything the legal way to get through, and they go, "Jalen, there's a theater academy." I go, "Wait, really?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Yeah." I go, "Okay." So I signed for a theater academy. It was freshman orientation. It was Miss Little. Freshman orientation. I had to do a form of a script. I did a script. I did pretty good. You can't like read off your phone or nothing. So I did the script. I got in. So I did the theater class, and the rest was history. I wanted to do plays, but I wasn't really able to do plays because it contradicts with football times and everything, and you got to do 100% in one thing at a time. But so yeah.
So theater kind of created your football career at North.
Definitely. Theater definitely created the football career at North. That was my leeway to get into North. Yeah. It's definitely helped. I definitely owe the theater program a lot. So when I come into a lot of money, I'm hoping to help them out with a little bit of that stuff, help out the stage and everything. But yeah, it's definitely helped out my career, and it's definitely an interesting thing. People always make fun of the theater kids because they're not this, they're not that, but there's a lot to them. There's a lot, like they're fun to hang around, they're fun to talk with, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, ma'am.
And so like that, when was the first year you won the state championship?
My first year was my sophomore year.
Okay.
I was a starter as my first day, not my first day of practice, my third day of practice. Actually, my first practice at North, I tried to tackle Micah, and I didn't know it was. If I was a freshman, I don't know. Don't tackle the quarterback. I'm just thinking, go all in, go hit him, right? So at least I was playing nose guard. I was going against the varsity starters. She's like, "Oh, I gotta go beat them. They're varsity starters of Toms River North, right?" Like as a kid in Toms River, you always want to play high school football. And I went to go hit him, and he laid me out. But I'll never. But like, I now would admit to it because matured a little bit. But I used to never admit to it. But I tried to tackle him. Now I see why no one was able to tackle him. He was a real deal. But yeah, we won our first state championship game sophomore year. Okay. We lost in the divisional playoffs to Kingsway my freshman year. It hurt. Teammates crying. We never wanted to feel that feeling ever again. Mm-hmm. So the next year and following that sophomore year, we came back and was like, you know what? We gotta practice hard. We gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta work in the weight room. We gotta watch film when no one else is watching film. We gotta practice early in the summer when no one else is practicing. We gotta do captain's practices. We gotta, even if it's without pads, we gotta train. But yeah, that was sophomore year. Then junior year, we went on again. Same. We lost the seniors, but we come back with a different team, and we rebuilt what we lost. The arc was broken. We had to rebuild it again. So that's what we did. We worked hard. We found leadership. We found people who were able to fit into the spots that we lost. Kazanowski, we were able to put a new tight end in. New offensive lineman, new defensive lineman, and we came back with a state championship at Rutgers University. So, this year, senior year, we're working for it again. So
you could feel it towards the end of last year that you guys were not going to lose. I remember at that Cherokee game, we're going back to back song that you guys are singing the whole time.
So that song actually, it's funny. I started the song. I was like, you know what? Let me just sing a song. Let me see it, because as I got out of class, we were like, maybe they're not gonna sing the song to make fun of me. So I sung the song because I was like, you know what, bro, we're going. We have to. Yeah. We got to come out with this win. We got to do something. As Coach Oz said, we got to do something that no one's ever done. You want to be different. You want to leave a legacy that no one else has ever left, and you want to write your name in the book. In Shore Sports, and that no one else has ever done this. Micah rushed for this certain amount of yards. People always say everyone's fans of Micah, but you gotta have people have their flowers. He's the greatest running back to ever come through New Jersey history. Other than Commandant Guy, but he's the greatest running back to come through New Jersey history. And that team was the greatest team, I feel as though, to ever come through Thompson North history and New Jersey. Even if, we worked hard, and now this year we have a new team, so we'll see what we do. Yeah,
you might get pushback from those Don Bosco guys.
Those Don Bosco
Brian Cushing
guys.
Years and all that.
Yeah,
but no, I agree. I think you guys, you kind of had that something special, that different. And now partway through this season, you guys, haven't lost a game yet.
No.
You not only haven't lost, you've put exclamation points on all your games.
Yes, sir.
Point Borough gave you a little scare,
yes, sir.
But you figured it out.
Yeah, that the triple option.
Yeah, different.
It was different. But Coach Oz, also one of the greatest coaches in New Jersey history. I feel as though, and Coach Dowd, one of the greatest coaches in New Jersey history, and Coach CJ, one of the younger coaches that is coming into the game that played for Coach Oz. He's our defensive line coach. I feel as though that our practice during the week was hit the fullback. Even if he doesn't have the ball, maybe he does have the ball. We had multiple guys on the fullback. We had multiple guys on the quarterback. I feel as though at certain parts of the game, some of us played our own game and we were selfish, and that's when you lose the game. Is when you start becoming selfish, and that's when when you're not all into your team.
Yeah.
You're all into making a highlight reel, trying to get recruited. That's over right now.
Yeah.
You're out there. Worry about getting recruited Saturday. Go to college football game Saturday, and we had to talk about that in the locker room, and we were like, we have to cut that out, and we gotta play football and be a team and trust each other.
So at this point in the season, based off of the fact that you have had 2 state championships and you know what it feels like at different parts of the season, the hills and valleys of it, where is this team right now, like mentally? And you said you guys kind of talked about the worry about that stuff later. Was that like kind of jumping that hurdle, like kind of that camaraderie? Like, where do you feel like you are? Not, I don't want to say to like overly compared to the other teams. It's every team's different, but just kind of from your perspective. I
feel as though, so we played South last week. I feel as though we kind of let up a little bit. It was 20-0 at halftime. Toms River North has never been 20-0 at halftime with Toms River South. All respect to them. It should have been 50-0 by halftime, because the work that we put in during the week, all comes out to Friday night. Everyone comes to Friday night games thinking it's like a football game, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it matters how hard you work. South worked as hard as we did, and I hate to say that, but because it's our rivalry, but they worked as hard as we did, and I feel as though that even though we executed during the week, we didn't do what we're supposed to do during the game. There was people playing lazy. Our offensive line, including me, we walked to the ball. We should have been running to the ball. We should have been getting set, because the movement of the game and how fast you're going, how fast pace you're going. We're a no huddle team, so we're on the ball right after the play. So we should have been on the ball. We weren't on the ball. Some receivers are running their own route. We can't do that because that's what makes Toms River different. We've always been a team ever since like 1900s. We've always been a team, but we're always a fast paced team. But I feel as though that's the hump we have to get over right now. And I feel as though this Friday that's coming up, I feel as though the talk we've had with the team, the talk the seniors had during halftime, is that we have to be better. We have to be a team. We have to be all into each other. We have to change our mindset. Kind of. We were tired. They were tired, and they were just like, it's South, we're gonna win, or it's how we're gonna win. You can't be like that with every team, because every team's a new team during the week, and it matters how you practice.
Definitely. It sounds like what we were talking about with the whole with Shiano, got the FAMLY, you know?
Forget about me, I love you.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big thing with it too. Forgetting about yourself, I love you. It can go with anything. Forgetting about myself, I love you. You know, you want to go somewhere. I've definitely learned with my parents. My parents definitely taught that with me. You know, they want to do something, right? They want to do something really bad, but forget about me. We're gonna go where you want to go because I love you that much. Or I want to make this play or throw the ball this way, but I'm not going to throw, or I'm going to run the ball, but I'm not going to because I love this team more than I love myself and more than I love a highlight reel. I'm gonna block this kid a certain way and put my body on the line to get this pancake because I want to pancake them for you so you can get through this pathway because I love my team more than I love myself. And I feel like forgetting about yourself is definitely a big thing. Not just but then you can't mix up the mental forgetting about yourself. You don't want to mentally forget about yourself. Then you get tired and get worn out but yeah, that's basically what I agree with the forgetting about.
I like the way you say that a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So, like, as far as that's concerned with your mental, like, how do you prepare mentally? Like, what
Before
are
a game
some
or
things?
everything?
I would say, like, every day. What is, like, some routines that you have every day just to be in the right mindset? Because
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a routine guy. I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm not really like a planned out guy, but before games, it's more like I don't get dressed right before the game, right? Like, well, actually, I get dressed right before the game. I don't get dressed 3 hours before the game. I sit there. I do a little homework if I have homework. But then I sit there and I like have my headphones on. I'm listening to music, right? I don't listen to like really fast paced music. I listen to like slow music, like 2 hours before the game, and then an hour before the game, I'm listening to fast paced music, and you know. I guess just like envisioning things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna block. I'm gonna take 72. I'm gonna put them in the ground, right? Or I'm gonna take 94 and I'm gonna toss them over the fence. You have to envision everything you do before you do it. I think that's definitely a lot of pro athletes do.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes says it. He envisions him throwing a touchdown before he gets into the game, and eventually he's gonna throw a touchdown. Like I said, your mind is your biggest thing. So if you can get your mind to believe you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. And but yeah.
I don't know if you saw that quarterbacks thing on Netflix. It made me think of it. You watched that quarterbacks show?
No.
Okay, so you'll have to see it. There's a thing with that with visualizations, and Kirk Cousins, he has this program where it records his brain activity, and he has to watch something, and it triggers and it tells him like when he. Like, even though he's trying to visualize and pay attention, it says like when his mind drifts, and it so it can bring him back to it, so he can keep that focus and that visualization.
Exactly. And being in school, high school is completely different than college, but you know, we'll see that later in life. But high school, you're in school from 7:15 to 1:35 before a game. College, you don't have school that Saturday.
Yeah.
You're in a hotel. You're focusing on what you got to focus on, and there's a task at hand. High school, you're still a student. You're still 17, 18, 16 years old, and you still got to go to class. You still got to kind of use the bathroom. You still got to do all that. So I feel as though at high school, it's a little bit harder than it is in college. People say college is a whole bunch of distractions, but high school, there's the same amount of distractions in there is. There's parties, there's drinking, there's smoking, there's all this stuff. The same thing in college, but you're just a little bit older and you can do a little bit more. But high school, I feel like your focus has to be a little bit stronger than it is in college. Keep the focus, but it has to be a little bit stronger because there's distractions in school. You know, you're not alone all day in a hotel room, locked in, watching film, all that stuff. But definitely
Yeah.
Maybe you can attest to this, but one of the things with that, I agree with what you're saying. You don't, you know, there's more responsibilities you have in high school, but sometimes that structure kind of keeps you and holds you accountable.
Yeah, definitely.
Versus in college, you have to have the mental fortitude to hold yourself accountable. And that's where I think people get into the partying and the drinking, because it's like, oh, they did it this one time and got away with it, and it becomes a bad habit.
Exactly.
And so it's like, it's not that you need like a perfect routine, but creating those habits around your own mental is such a key thing for staying all in.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. So like when you're having a bad game and you know you have to step it up or whatever, is it totally like your self-talk to get you where you need to be?
It's more of the, come on, Jalen, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Come on, Jalen, this, like, you're a team leader. Like, what are you doing? There's people out there counting on you. There's people out there that have never seen me play high school football before and have come, honestly, there's people out there that's comes to games that be like, okay, I want to go see Jalen play, right? And you got to just be like, all right, why am I playing like this? Disappoint the people that came here to see me play. Now they're gonna go on Instagram and be like, oh, he's really not that good, or oh, he wasn't too good today. And I think as that type of person, I have to talk to myself and put a little fire under my butt. Like, come on, Jalen, put that work in. You worked so hard for this moment, and don't let it up. Like my mom said when I was in 7th grade, 8th grade, be all in everything you do. And, it doesn't matter. Every single Friday, be all in. Every single Thursday, be all in. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter the name of the day, but
That's a great point.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
The self-talk is so important.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
like you got to bounce back. You just have to, no matter what.
Yeah.
It seems like it's different too with like, so the way I am with myself is I almost respond more when it's like, and I know people might say otherwise, but like negative self-talk is almost like the don't be this, don't be an idiot, don't be like, you have to like prove to yourself not to be this, versus if I tell myself I'm a champion today, I don't believe it. So I'm saying don't be a loser or whatever.
Exactly. Like, that's funny because I was talking to my girlfriend's parents actually, I think yesterday, a few days ago, and it was, who do you look up to? Right? That was a question I asked, like, who do you look up to? And her dad was like, I don't really look up to anybody. It was more, I don't want to be like that person. Like, don't be like that. Yeah. This is Bob. Don't be Bob. Right? I want to be Jalen. Don't be Bob. Yeah. Bob smokes cigarettes 4 times a day. Don't be Bob. Bob drinks Coca-Cola. Bob drinks Coca-Cola before. It's funny, but it's true. Bob drinks Coca-Cola before a game. Don't drink cola before a game. I talked to Chase Basantis before he went to college, and he told me about he has a really strict diet, like really strict diet. He cut out soda, he cut out sweets, he cut out everything. But if you read that from a naked eye and like you don't really like you don't want to be like that person, you're like, okay, he's like, it's soda, like it's not that bad. But he didn't want to be like something. He didn't want to be like the next offensive lineman that had all this hype around him. It was like, now he failed because the soda he drank at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I say that to say the soda thing. His strict diet, cut out soda, cut out sugar. But you have to be like the all in thing. It's enough of saying it, but you have to be all in everything you do. You have to be all in being that person that you've been raised to be. Even if like, I don't know, just be all in. That's really the message here.
The sugar thing's funny because I remember, so back, this is years ago, because I was in the Air Force, I was overseas. Wow. And I saw this image of sugar and it like wrapped around the brain and it squeezed the brain.
Exactly.
And I had cut out sugar, and then when I would look at something sugary, like I didn't feel it anymore. Like it was gone, but it like, that sugar can like take over. And you were talking before we got on the camera about how your brain's like your best muscle, your strongest muscle, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So it's poisoning your brain if you're doing that kind of stuff. So just to make that one conscious decision it's not about the soda itself. It's about the conscious decision that you made and sticking with it. And then training your brain to do that.
And adding on to that, a part of like a talk that me and Coach Yano had like a while ago was about the frontal lobe, the muscle in the front of your brain. It doesn't get developed in a man until he's 21, and it's developed in a woman, I think, when she's 19. So the frontal lobe, it makes you make a decision from right from wrong, right? The mature decision. So the decision you would make in a fight, or if someone tried to put their hands on you, is like, don't touch me. But the decision I would make is, I'm gonna fight you because you're 30 plus years old. I'm 18, right? I was gonna go high because you saw that. You saw that, right? Yeah. I was like, let's not get to it. But yeah, but
how old do I look? I don't know.
Not like 30, 32.
Okay, 33. 36.
You're 36?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm 47.
Sometimes
no way.
Swear to God, I'm 47.
Really?
I could take this hat off and show you, but I ain't doing that.
I was born back in the 1900s.
Yeah, but so I said 1900s. You were like, whoa. What was I saying? But yeah, the frontal lobe, making a mature decision, even like you don't want to. The candy thing, the sugar thing. Like, people might watch this and be like, why did I tell my candy? Why did I tell my sugar? It's all wrapped up into one thing. It's all about your brain. It's all about everything you do is your brain. When you wake up in the morning, do you want to get up, or does your brain, or do you want to go eat candy, right? Or do you want to go eat salad? Do you want to go eat chocolate bar? Your brain makes that decision for you. The frontal lobe makes that decision for you. So like I was saying, it's like I said, it's all the brain. You know, all in athletes, about mental health. You know, Shore Sports Network. You know, do I want to write a post about this kid or this kid? You know, it's all about the brain. But I feel as though even as a football player, or even as a soccer player, lacrosse player, field hockey player, you know, you have to be mentally grounded in something. You know, dig deeper into something, even if it's the Word of God. I feel as though that you can't do everything you want to do or achieve in life if God's not in it. You know, you like the stuff that's happening in the world right now, Florida with the 5 thing hurricane. It's never happened in 100 years. Tesla's driving themselves into a parking lot in the mall by themselves. That never happens. But you have to get yourself right. It's because, you know, it's everything ends at some point, and you have to be grounded in something. Because if you're not grounded in something, and if you're not willing to, you know, do what you got to do, then it was all for no reason. And I genuinely believe that. You know, everyone says stay in school, stay in this, but I feel as though the message that athletes and parents and people should give to younger people is, you know, get your life right. You know, even if it is right, work, like dig deeper and everything. But yeah.
So that leads me to the quote that you chose for our sponsored athlete. We love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Locked in on the front, and then who are you when no one is watching?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's along the same lines, right?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Those choices add up.
Yeah, it definitely adds up. You know, it can coincide with multiple things. It can coincide with who are you when no one's watching? Are you training? Who are you when no one's watching? Are you this nice person? Are you a bad person? Who are you when no one's watching? Are you when you ask to use the bathroom in school? Are you actually using the bathroom? Or are you smoking? Who are you when no one's watching? Are you doing your chores when your parents are home? Or are you just watching TV? It all goes with something else. The reason I chose that was because it doesn't just mean one thing. Like I said, it means multiple things. So you have to be just I don't know, just like all in. Like it's like genuine.
You want to be genuine.
You want to be genuine. Just that genuine person you are. And I also want people to know, like we said before, who is Jalen Matthews? You know, who am I when no one's watching? You know, when I get more influence out there to people, I want to do a lot of youth camps. When school started, I wanted to do a book bag drive and all this stuff, but I didn't want to be taken the wrong way. I didn't want people to be like, oh, there's a whole bunch of cameras around, he just wants to be seen, because that's what people conscrew the two. And I just don't want to be that type of person. I always wanted to be a person that uses my platform to help other people out. You know, like she said, when I saw her movement she was doing with Val Barnaby, there was no money involved. I didn't want money. You know, I want to put my word out there. I want to help people out the same way she's doing, and it's definitely something I look up to. And like I said, you don't want to be someone, but that's someone I definitely want to be like, and definitely help out with mental health.
Want to be like All in Ange?
Yes, man. Yeah, let's go.
Everybody wants to be All in Ange.
Let's go.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Yeah. So Shore Sports Network, you know, you outright bought it. What is like a message you would want to put out to athletes that while you have this platform, because you have like one of the biggest platforms in New Jersey right now, and it's popping, as we would say, but it's popping. But yeah, what's like a message you want to put out there?
So the big thing of what I've been trying to do over the last year, and it's hard because you get kind of like butt up with like old school media, legacy media, and how some of that stuff goes. And this is why I think me and Ange connected so well, is because I always saw it as a community, like as a platform. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, it's an article I wrote, or it's a post by Shore Savages, or it's NJ.com or Asbury Park Press. It's highlighting the athletes. So there's a community of people around that. And I think too many people get like, their minds kind of get pulled, and they make these assumptions. And, you know, they go down that trail of like self-promotion. It was never about like promoting myself as a content creator. That's what, like, most of the time, everything was like always from the Shore Sports Network account, not, you know, my account. It was always because the idea was to be able to highlight athletes like yourself and teams too. Like there's an element that, you know, what the teams represent. And it's funny because, you know, before coming into this, you know, you have these opinions of different schools and different teams and all that kind of stuff. And then once you show up to these games, and, you know, especially when it's at a conference and you're like, I really want this team to win, you know, like they're my boys now, you know, or my girls now. And that community, I just kind of like fell in love with. And so that's like the biggest message out of it is finding a way to create that platform and that community so that guys like you want to come back. And, you know, there's not only the resource of your career on there, but because the way that we're promoting it allows you then to reconnect with your school and the younger players. So like when you're 36 years old, it's, hey, look where I am now. And this is the path you could have taken. And then it allows that platform to be used in unique ways that probably I can't even fathom right now, because somebody like Ange comes in and, you know, now she's promoting mental health, or somebody else is going to come in with something completely different I have never heard of yet, but like embracing that.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my little pitch.
That was deep.
Yeah. Well, what I loved about it is just the fact that as an athlete, you see that if a network is only highlighting the best players and they're only highlighting the statistics, then the pressure on you to be that person in comparison is a lot. Exactly. So if you have a network that is also highlighting, hey, like when we put this out there and people see that this is actually who you are, it's going to be like, okay, like I really don't care how many tackles he has. Now I can aspire to be this guy who sat in front of people and told his story. Exactly. And that's what you want young men and young women to aspire to be, than just that statistic. Exactly. So that's why, like with Scott, it was like, he was like, wow, like I love that idea. And I was like, yeah, I would love to highlight what teams do. And this, because you are human before you are an athlete. Yes, and if we can get that message across to young kids, then the pressure is going to get less, and then we're going to love the game. And we're going to go out there and do the best, better than before.
Exactly.
So if I could add on to that real quick too, one of the things that, you know, with that and sort of what I was talking about before is, again, people make those assumptions. And, you know, in the past, we only, like she said, highlighted those top teams and those top players. My whole thing was kind of getting out there and like pushing it out so that, because every athlete's working hard. Sure, you have a big name because you're a football player at Toms River North, but that kid that's the volleyball player or the field hockey player or whatever random sport, they're practicing every day after school too, and highlighting their achievements, even if it doesn't seem as grand, are super important. And again, I was told certain things, but then it keeps getting proven wrong again and again. You know, I'll use Lakewood as an example. You know, Lakewood, there's just a reputation around what Lakewood means. And so I was told they'll never give you anything. Well, when I pushed stuff out about girls volleyball, that was the very first team. They sent me player bios, they sent me headshots, and those girls were super excited. So we got like all that stuff on there, and it's like, everybody just told me Lakewood doesn't care, but here they are, like being the very first ones. They do. Everybody does care. So, you know, New Egypt just came in. They're a smaller school now. So I made sure like their first game, I was out there. It's like those spots matter. And because that's part of this community, even though you're a Toms River North athlete, you're still in the short conference.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Exactly. Yeah. Short conference is definitely a big family. You know, as much as you want to have rivalries and everything, it's more to football, it's more to lacrosse, it's more to volleyball, it's more to field hockey. You're definitely a big family. Like if you put all of us in a room that plays for every short conference school, I bet you we leave and everyone's friends. You know,
I mean, we saw that at the All In event.
Exactly.
The boys were like, holy smokes, he is so funny. And I'm like, yeah, he is. And he made a comment out there where he was like, I loved it. You said something about like, be something on the football field. Oh, be relentless, or you used a better word.
What I said.
And then a teddy bear off the field.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a lot of people say that about me, is I'm like crazy on the football field, but then off the football field, I'm like this really nice guy. And I wish a lot more people could see that, and like what you're doing definitely helps me and other athletes come out there and say, you know, we're more than that. You know, like Micah, if he was on this, you know, he's more than just get New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, you know, and just like we just get to see that because we're with him at practice every day. You know, he's a nice kid. He has feelings. You know, he's emotional. Even though he might hurt me for saying this, but you know, everyone like. I
love that you're saying that.
Yeah, but like, but even me too. I'm really emotional.
Yeah.
You know, I get upset really quick, and when I get upset, I shut down a little bit. I get quiet. I sit in the corner. I just get on my phone. But you know,
But you can identify that in yourself now as a kid in high school. Like there was no shot at that when I was in high school. Like it was just such a different culture around it. So like her doing this and you coming on and embracing it, it's not it kind of makes you develop more. So by the time you're 36, it's like you're going to be that much more. Like I'll be like, oh, I wish I was like that when I was 36. I wish I was you when I was 18. You know.
But that's like another reason I chose Rutgers. Back onto the Rutgers thing, was because Coach Shiano. I put like everything into him, my like every single thing. So my thought behind it with the committing was, even if I don't make it to the NFL, right, I left there with something. I left there with the fact that he made me, or helped me become, and everyone on his coaching staff helped me become a better Jalen, helped me become a better father, a better husband, a better man, you know, a better person in life. You know, he gave me something that I needed that, you know, another school couldn't give me, that I thought they could have gave me all this money, but no, I didn't want that money. I wanted to be a better person. And that's why when I committed, I captioned the post, it was never about money. Because when I decommitted from Penn State, it was Jalen decommitted for NIL, right? Yeah. Everyone thought Jalen wanted to be this stupid rich guy. Everyone thought Jalen wanted to be crazy, like this crazy money, $2.5 million, $30 million, something. But all I wanted was a place that I can feel comfortable and at home with. And, you know, ever since visiting Rutgers, I visited Rutgers about 40 times. And, you know, there was always something that was like, this is it. There was always like that little thing. Even when we played in the state championship game, it was like, Jalen, this is it. Mm-hmm. And going back for the first visit, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. But, you know, just, you know, being a better person was definitely a big thing with Rutgers, and I'm happy that I'm there for sure.
It's just, it's just crazy to me that you understand this now as like as a kid. Like it's great, because that's even like one of the things about student athletes is, you know, I remember the guys I played with, that's like the first time you really learn how to be a team and know what that means. So it doesn't matter if you're a football player or if you are just working at you're an accountant or you're this, you're still part of a team no matter where you're at. Even if you're a lone entrepreneur, your team is your clients and all that. So you're always dealing with people. So
exactly. And actually the family wristbands, those are really nice, by the way.
Yeah. Here. Yeah. That's yours.
Would it fit on him?
Probably not. I do got some big wrists. We'll see. But let's see. But what do you? Thank you. Yes. What do you use? Like what? And forget about me. I love you. Coach Yano's big thing. It's all over. It's all over the walls. But what do you use? A family. Like how would you use it?
How do I use it? I mean, I think about the fact that I left a career that I was making money as a teacher, and I left it because I wanted to do bigger work in the world. So forget about me, forget about money. I love you. So right now, like, I want to just give back and give people a platform to be able to talk about this stuff, because it saved my life. And I think also what it is for me, like, forget about me, I love you. It's if I lift people up, I will be lifted up as well. And that comes from my faith as well. Definitely. So it's like, it's not, people are first for me, but then I've also learned, like you had spoke about earlier, is when my mind is right, and I'm the best person for everybody else. So when I fill my cup, then I can fill everybody else's cup.
You can't help people if you
I can't help people. And I learned that. And then that makes me prioritize myself, because I love people so much that I want them to have the best Ange that there is. So it's really, that means a lot to me as well. And I think it's a great message. And, you know, we can take it from the Bible perspective. We could take it from a school perspective, a family perspective, a relationship perspective. So it's just an awesome message all around.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. What about you? What does family mean to you?
Yeah, I actually came into it earlier this year. It's funny. We call it the ref that made the bad call is what actually got me connected to it with Manasquan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
that was crazy.
It was crazy. So that's connected with Joe Leone. And then I ended up going out to LA and meeting the founder of Family, Mike Manhart. And so, you know, he's a good friend with Coach Shiano, help, you know, feed the poor when I was out there. They have like a food truck and they go into like the worst part of LA, you know, like it's the worst part. And then, you know, just kind of handing out food and seeing what it was all about. And so ever since then, it's just, you know, it just kind of blossomed over time. And so I think for me personally, like my personal journey with it was kind of like letting go of certain elements of control and trying to control every situation, because you can't, and understanding that if I can control like my own world and, you know, and give back as best I can, kind of like she said, like you create good things out of that. And then you bring people along and everybody gets lifted up.
Definitely.
As opposed to trying to, especially in today's world, trying to force opposing views on each other and debating. It's like, it's not about the debate. It's about embrace and understanding the differences. Like, you might have a different point of view on something than me, but as long as I understand your point of view, then I understand where you're coming from, and I understand how I could benefit you, or I could create a situation that could benefit you, and it's just kind of taking that and embodying it into some bigger picture that I don't understand.
Yeah,
definitely. That definitely brings like the leadership thing too.
Yeah.
You have to be able to lift someone up and not put them down. Because when you're lifting someone else up, you're also lifting yourself up. Being a leader and being a captain at times over North, it takes a lot of strength, like lifting people up. Like the game against South, we had to do a lot of lifting up because people were kind of upset because when the head coach yells at you, you're like, oh man, I did something wrong. I like some people are like, I don't know if I can fix this. Some people are like, oh, I gotta fix this. And lifting kids up that are like, I don't know if I like cower down a little bit. You're like, yo, come on, you got this. You while you're doing that, you're to yourself, oh, I got this too. But yeah.
How do you deal with that as a football team, like the blame game?
The blame game. Oh, I hate that game.
Right. And so like you're a leader and it's happening. Do you hold your teammates accountable? Do you call them out? Do you say like, no, like this is a team effort? Like it's not because TJ threw interceptions. It's because of all of us.
Exactly. Well, he doesn't throw interceptions.
So. He doesn't, right? I know. Sorry, TJ.
Yeah, he's perfect.
TJ's the one that does the car detailing?
Yes, he does.
Yes,
Shout out TJ's car detailing. Yeah.
He's going to come and do my car.
Is he really?
Yeah, wait till you see it.
Well, now he is because you shouted him out.
Now he is. But yeah, he's got like a serious car detailing
he's
program.
really good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. He is. Anyway.
He's like hooking up with this guy and getting like a whole like building for it too.
Yeah.
Proud of him for it.
Yeah.
I'll hire him for my wife's car.
Yeah.
Oh my
but
gosh,
not because it's dirty.
So
Hers is clean, but she likes that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
And he gets people like prices and everything. I was like, oh wow, he's serious about
Smart
this.
Man.
Yeah,
so anyway, blame game.
Yeah, blame game. But yeah, we're teenagers. Like you said, you're like, we don't know, like, and you're surprised I know some things like that at this age, but we're still teenagers. Like I'm still an 18-year-old boy. We're a team still 16, 17-year-olds. So the blame game is normal. Even for adults, it's normal. But in teenagers, it's like, we don't want to get blamed for something. We want to be perfect, especially in the sport you play. You want to be perfect in everything. So if I threw an interception, if I missed a block and like from like the blind eye, it's your fault. I messed that block. You didn't give me the right call. It happens a lot. Even I do it sometimes. And the way we nip it in the bud is we're a team, right? The O-line is a team in the team. So if I miss a block, it's my fault and it's everyone else's fault because we messed up somewhere, right? You have to be like, all right, guys, how are we gonna rebuild from this, right? Not it's your fault, it's my fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Because when you point at someone, you have three fingers pointing right back at you, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't really blame because three of them was your fault. But back to hold on, I forgot what I was gonna say. Back to nipping in the bud, nipping the blame game in the bud. Just being leaders and just taking accountability is a big thing. Because in life you have to take accountability. The game of football teaches you about life in general. Yeah. If you get a fumble, someone's going to pick it back up. If it's you or the other guy. If you throw the ball, you could get a touchdown or you can get an interception. And if they take an interception, they're going to try to score. In life, if you mess up, someone's going to pick it back up, right? Mm-hmm. Or if you got to pick it up, and you got to pick up and pick up your bed and walk. Cool in the Bible, but pick up your bed and walk in life. But you got to, just the blame game. We really cut it out by being leaders. It doesn't really happen a lot in our locker room because just the amount of leadership and a lot of seniority that's there, and a lot of we're a family. If we see one kid upset, we're like, yo, are you good? Like, we're brothers. So we don't really want to blame stuff on each other and get people upset. So because our team is very emotional, emotional team. So
when you're emotional, you become vulnerable. Yeah. And when people are vulnerable, they grow more together.
Exactly.
If you have this wall up and you can't tap into that and you're not able to, and you hold these grudges and you don't get to know each other. Like Scott and I, we met 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And like, we're able to talk about anything there is to talk about as we're both navigating like what this next step is.
Exactly.
And it's amazing because it's like we've known each other for years.
Yeah, I thought
it feels like it
for a while.
Yeah, it's literally just because, I mean, that is one of my superpowers is vulnerability, where I'll just be like, okay, this is exactly what it is. I'm going to put myself out there. What does it look like? I love to give advice. I love to be there. So I think it's important in a team culture that is brought to the surface, whether a coach is making it happen or the leaders and the captains know that's important to know a guy and what they're going through,
And definitely being vulnerable as a man. Like you can probably attest from this is, or, it was always taught, don't cry, don't show tears, because men don't cry. Men don't show they're upset. Men don't put their head down. They have to be strong in all cases of possibility. But when you meet somebody or you're on a team with people that be like, yo, you can cry. It's okay to cry, because when you cry, I got your back. If someone says something, I got you. That's definitely a really good like thing to have in your locker room, or even a really good thing to have in your life. It can go in relationships, or it can go in friendships. It can go with like I'm saying, locker rooms. You can put your head down for a second in the locker room when you made a play, but after you pick your head back up and be like, yo, now go out there and prove to everyone why you're here and why you're starting varsity or why you're on JV. It's because you're actually a butt kicker and you made the right plays other times, and it's time for you to go out there and show everybody. But being vulnerable is in the locker room makes a winning team. In order to win a state championship, we have to be vulnerable. And during film, you have to be vulnerable. You have to get screamed at by the coach and be a little upset, because then, like Rand said, the ball gets knocked down and everyone can be like, all right, now go pick it up. That's what makes Tom's River North different from every other team in the country. Is we're definitely a vulnerable team. Our coaches are vulnerable with us. Awesome. Coach. Some of our coaches have went through things. Some of our coaches have gotten sick with cancer, and it's been like, all right, we're gonna work through this. Even in the hospital, even though through chemo, we're gonna work through this, because vulnerability definitely gets you the dub at the end of the season with the state championship ring on your finger, because it's really a game who's ever most vulnerable. Because that's really who wins. But
it's almost like if there's negativity coming at you and you put that wall up, that negativity deflects back onto that person, and then they feel the negativity. If you can absorb that and then build yourself up, and then use that, like you said, allow yourself to feel emotional. I mean, you said your freshman year when you guys lost at Kingsway, there was the crying on the field. That means that you cared enough because you put that work in.
Exactly.
If you didn't cry, I'm not saying you had to cry, but
you didn't cry. Like, wait a minute.
It's
what happened here?
Clearly you didn't care that much.
Exactly.
I mean, as a coach myself, it's like, with my guys, you put so much work and effort and time and everything into it. It's like, you feel that emotion, and that same thing. It happened this past spring. Like, we lost in a playoff game, and there was, they cried, but the old program, like when I played, none of those guys would have. They didn't care. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But now putting that work in together and building what that team is, and like you said, Toms River North has that, and I'm sure there's other ones that have it too. But vulnerability. I think game of who's most vulnerable.
Exactly.
It's the culture. It's the deciding factor. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Like if you go to battle together and you could pick each other up and you go through hard times, you see it anywhere. Then you bounce back so much better because you've seen the other side of a person. If you just see the robot of a player, why are you going to battle for the robot of a player?
Exactly.
You know what makes
Stop going
tick.
through emotions.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not a surface friend. Like you're not coming to dinner with me and we're going to talk about like TV.
Exactly.
I'm gonna dive in and be
Exactly.
like, what's your best story? Or it's like my friends sometimes give me the heads up and they're like, listen, if you're coming out to dinner, don't ask about our marriage. I ask the question, how's your marriage? You guys communicate?
You guys good?
And you guys good? And then they're like, oh, and
we talked about this in the car. But vulnerability, right? I think, like, back to the South game from last week, South Civil War game, biggest rivalry in Toms River, one of the biggest rivalries in the state. Toms River, my first time to the South, has been going on for years. But when we were able to be vulnerable in the locker room when it was 20-0, we were upset. We're like, what are we doing, right? Why are we 20-0? Why are we like this? Kids were upset because they weren't making the right play. Kids were upset because they weren't making the right tackle. They were missing tackles. We were getting the ball shoved down our throats in the middle. Is what was happening. They were vulnerable, right? And teams, even back to this other team, teams get your most vulnerable point. Right, so like you have to be vulnerable with your teammates, but you can't be vulnerable on the field. Like I feel like that's Coach Haas kind of explains it in a type of way. It's hard to explain it his way, but vulnerability, like as a team for another team, that's how they're going to beat you, right? So kind of can't let your vulnerability out for the other team. But but back to the locker room, we were vulnerable in the locker room. We were like, all right, this is the problem. We got to fix it. Heads were down. We had the senior stood up and was like, yo, we got to pick it up. Even we were messing up. Like I said, we're not running to the ball. We're not doing what we have to do. And vulnerability, you have to be able to fix it and, just grow as a team kind of. Yeah. But I'm kind of repeating myself. But,
but it's kind of along the same lines of when people talk about mental toughness.
Exactly.
Like mental toughness is that guy across from me, number 93, he's going down.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to pancake him.
Exactly.
Right? But then it's also, I can't get my head right. I need to talk to somebody.
Exactly.
And true mental toughness is also admitting that
you
got
need
something
help.
going on.
Exactly. It's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to not be okay. But it also is that space of, okay, now that I'm not okay, what am I going to do to fix it?
Exactly.
And then I'm going to change something about it.
Exactly.
And that's where, like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, we don't really buy into the whole mental health thing because it's a scapegoat and kids just have to be tough.
Exactly.
But guys really aren't ready to be tough.
Exactly.
The frontal lobe.
That
coach is 100% correct.
Exactly.
Like, you're teenagers.
It's
hard
like
for
that
them.
selectional toughness too, or being able to, like, being mentally tough is almost being able to turn it off, on and off. So it's, you're a Spartan on the O line. You got everything up and you're putting everything into it. That's mental toughness. But then being able to shut that down. I mean, when I played football, there was a crazy guy and he'd just be hitting people on the sideline because he's just trying to be whatever. And it's like, he couldn't turn it off. So
yeah,
exactly. I had a talk with Coach Susan actually last night, and Anthony Davis, offensive lineman that played for Rutgers.
Yeah.
He's actually he's almost like a big brother to me. Ever since I committed there, but Coach Susan was telling me that he still has to teach Anthony Davis. He's 40 years old. He still has to teach him how to turn the switch on and off, right? And Coach, he told me actually in text message, if a puppy doesn't learn to bite when it's little, it won't ever bite. Right. And you have to be able to tell, a puppy can bite when it's little, but once it's older, you have to be like, all right, you can't bite your owner. Right. And you can't bite people you live with. So you have to be able to turn it off as in like, all right, I'm at school. I have a game today, but I can't be aggressive. I have a game today, but I can't be mean to my girlfriend. I'm locked in, but I can't be mean to my wife. I'm locked in, but I can't be mean to my husband. I can't be mean to my friends because I'm locked in, because they have nothing to do with what's about to happen. They don't. They're just like, all right, like, you're Jalen. We're like friends. I'm like, all right, but yeah, you have to be able to turn that switch off and
that's such a good way to put it.
It's a great way to put it.
Like that puppy and
yeah, but 100%. Coach Susan, he's really serious with the
analogies.
Analogies, very serious.
I love that.
Yeah,
but it helps you understand it better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because he's lived it, and then he's gonna make you see that there's like life lessons. Like,
exactly.
It's just football.
Exactly.
Life. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's good. It's also good to have someone that sees Jalen more than Jalen Matthews, even though he's a college coach, college is a business, right? But Rutgers, I feel as though all right, let's take Rutgers out of it. Coach Greg Schiano and Joe Susan, right? I feel like they see me more than just offensive tackle that can play for Rutgers. I feel like they see me as Jay, right? Big J. I feel as though that since they've seen me since 12th grade, we've been vulnerable together. Right. We've had talks in the office that were very vulnerable talks that were like father and son talks, right? That were like friend to friend talks. And it was like, you have to be very vulnerable with your coaches. And even like in the recruiting thing, like you have to be, if coaches that are very vulnerable get the recruit, right? I wasn't looking for a coach that was newspaper coach, right? They say this, you're the best coach, you're the best tackle we've ever seen, right? But they also text the next guy, you're the best tackle we've ever seen. It got to the point where coaches would text me that, I'd be like, bro, you don't gotta tell me that. You tell everybody else that. And I was like, I know, trust me. Like I've talked to every college. I know that you tell everybody else that. And I just got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm tired of that. I need a coach that's gonna be like family to me. That checks on just not me but my siblings. That comes to school and goes, how's school going? Not you ready to play football, right? That because some coaches for some schools would come in during class time and take up my class time. And I was like, Coach, I gotta go to school. I gotta go to class. I'm here for school right now. But Rutgers would come at the end of the day, right before practice, and they'd walk me to practice, and we'd have talks, just vulnerable talks, one-on-one, or they would drive me to practice and be like, how are you, Jalen? Right? That was always a talk. Coach Schiano, he was always bad thing. His thing always means bad things have happened to you. It's time for good things to happen to you, and not even just from the football thing, but from the life aspect. He's more worried about my life than he is about football, Jalen. Because you can't put the helmet on if your head is messed up. Because you can't perform right if you can't cook good food if you're worried about the dinner that you cooked last night. But yeah,
you can't cook good food without the right ingredients.
Exactly.
Can't
cook food without the right ingredients.
And football, more than any of them, you got, it's a 60-minute game. In college, It's 10 to 12 times a year. So that's 10 to 12 hours out of an entire year
Exactly.
that you're like you're going at that. So it's like it's just a better approach to say, hey, let's develop them as people, because then in those moments when it's
They're
hard,
out. Exactly. So going to some colleges, right, and like seeing like them outside of football, like on official visits and just our regular visits, was definitely a big help in that too. Because I got to see them outside of their uniform. I got to see them outside of blocking dummy, right? I got to see them at parties and just like some of the stuff like that would like kind of turn me off, because you're not the type of person I want to be when I grow up. So like, why am I surrounding myself around people that I won't want to be like her? But so that was definitely a big thing in the recruiting thing, because like you said before, we didn't really talk about, because a lot of kids dream to be recruited from University of Tennessee, the Ohio State University. We don't like them, but the Ohio State University, University of Miami, University of Georgia, University of Alabama, University of Texas. Everyone dreams to be recruited by these schools, and very, very few are chosen by these schools, right? And it gets like the tire thing, right? I met you at the perfect part in the recruiting thing, because I was really tired, right? I was like tired of it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, right? I was like, I just think I can hang up my cleats and be like, all right, I'm good. I'm done with football. I'm just ready to be just Jalen, right? And it was, I guess it's like we're being wrong, right? I guess it's like it happens to a lot of, not a lot of athletes, but I was tired from being misunderstood and just being used kind of with the football thing, because a lot of people use like not a lot of people, but some people use me for Jalen Matthews, right? Like they come at like the Jalen Matthews is my friend, right? I don't know you. I've never met you before, or like Jalen Matthews did this, right? Like now recently, a lot of people are trying to like get me in trouble for things I've never done. Right, like he hearsay, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've never done this. Like, why are you trying to ruin something for me that I didn't do nothing to you? Yeah. And it's because a lot of people can foresee things, right? So you can see that Jalen's going to do a lot of things in life, and you want to ruin it. And I was just tired of that. I was tired of being constantly blamed for stuff, being constantly like questioned about stuff. What did you do this? Or being I was just tired of it all, and I was tired of after Friday nights just not feeling anything. Right? We won a game. I was like, okay, like when's next week? And I just was like, I was falling out of love with the game. And once you fall out of love with the game and it becomes a job, you should have put yourself away. And Quentin Nelson said that. And after that point, I was like, you know what, maybe I'm done. But after meeting Ange and, after going to all the things, I was like, you know what, I'm back at it. Like I got something to prove. And like even the thing that we had when we were all up on the stage and Val was there and everything everyone said, and Kenny Pickett said, it helped me fall in love with the game more. Helping me after Friday nights, it was like, oh yeah, we won. Now it's time. Now it's game time, right? But
Jalen, you're gonna make me cry. Now I know why I did what I do. Sometimes I need to be reminded.
Everyone needs to be reminded about something.
Yeah,
thank you. Also, you're doing a great job with the Short Sports Network thing. I know people probably don't say it a lot. People probably don't put it out there a lot, but you're doing a great job, and people are proud of you, what you're doing. And everyone always needs a pat on the back saying, you know what, good job, bro. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Good job.
Man, thanks.
But definitely, everyone needs to have their flowers, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, even the kids from Lakewood or the kids from Long Branch, everyone needs their flowers, because maybe you didn't get it when you were little, or maybe someone took your flowers away from you. Like, oh yeah, no, you're not really. That's not gonna help anybody. Or Long Branch Lakewood's really not gonna do anything. But I feel as though, like I said, giving you your flowers, you guys are doing an amazing thing with helping athletes and using your platform for just more than stats, using your platform for just more than podcasts. It's definitely exactly what it's all part of something. It's all gonna work out. Athletes they're gonna come back. Kenny Pickett, Micah, everyone's gonna come back and be like, thank you for doing this for me. You put me out there. You helped me with something. You helped me with my mental. You helped me with everything. And it's all gonna work out for God's plan. And I'm excited for that for sure. But
People are going to listen to you, and you're going to change lives from this podcast. I guarantee you that.
Yes, ma'am.
To hear the other side of it, right, Scott?
I'm inspired.
Inspired, right? This is what we needed today.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But there's a lot to an athlete that people don't know. And, definitely bringing that out here. Even with the first podcast, I'm humbled for it to be the first person. But it's like, I'm happy to see what comes to fruition and what happens with everything. And I'm excited for it. And, definitely be watching and, yes, sir. Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you. All right. I have one question for you.
I have one more too after you.
All right. My question is always, what would you tell your younger self?
Should I tell my younger self?
You gave us a lot of nuggets. But what would you tell that 12-year-old Jalen? 13-year-old.
Well, 13-year-old Jalen was always like, I want to be a big recruit. I want everyone to know my name. Right. And sometimes now, like I might get off task of it. Sometimes now I'm like, oh wait, hold on, God, I didn't ask for all this.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for me to be walking in stores and everyone's like I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be a big recruit, but I did not know it comes with all this. I didn't know it comes with all this hate. I thought people would love me because like I'm nice to people. I thought people would be like,
it could be that you're 6'8".
Yeah, could be that. You're like, whoa, the heck? But yeah, but I didn't think that wouldn't be able to walk out of a game without people asking for pictures, right? I didn't think I'd be able to come walk out of a game or people like talking crap and just like cursing me out and like just stuff like that. Like crazy things have happened just because who I am. I didn't think about it like that. But so that brings me to
weak-minded people.
Yeah, weak-minded people.
Yes,
exactly. What I would tell my younger self is get yourself ready for that. You at a younger age, definitely get yourself ready for that because you have to become used to people screaming at you in your face that you suck or you're this or you're that, because we play games sometimes and people come up to me, even females come up to me, you suck, spitting in my face, everything, and you have to just look at them and be like, okay, because you know you can't mess up for what you have and coming to the future because weak-minded people want to mess it up. But that's definitely get ready.
Yeah, get ready.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you've got that uniform on, because that you're representing more than yourself when you got that uniform.
Exactly.
So you act out. They're trying to get you to act out. Because you're in the uniform.
Exactly.
And now everybody's got that cell phone to take camera.
Everyone has video of everything, and you don't want a little stupid mistake mess up what you have, because a little stupid mistake can be a $30 million mistake, and yes, sir.
Last question I have is, now we talked about short conference community a little bit and Rutgers, combining that. You've got Michael Thomas and Jaden going up to Rutgers. Yeah. Have you got like what's the almost you're almost on a pre-team right now.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be on the team together, but what's that look like? You guys communicating, like creating those bonds?
So we have a group chat with every recruit: DJ McCleary, Tariq Hayer, Jaden Elijah, Michael Thomas, and we talk every few days. We plan what games we're going to go to. A lot of the recruits are coming to Wisconsin this Saturday. A lot of recruits are going to UCLA, but you know our communications are definitely up there. Like winning a national championship, your communication and your bond with the team has to be very, very, very tight. And I feel as though we're building the tightness that New Jersey wants us to build right now as 17 or 18-year-olds. That way it's going to grow until we're like 30-year-old men, and we'll look back and be like, oh man, this is crazy. Like we start talking at 17, 18, now we're 30 with kids and families, and we're like, wow, this is what we've done. And I'm definitely excited to see what we do. We're building a strong team, and not just a strong team, but a mentally strong team, not mentally weak team, but mentally strong team. And I'm excited to see what Coach Shiano does with the team this year and does with us coming up, and we're all excited. Even if you have to sit behind someone for a year, we're learning, right? We're doing what we have to do. But if it's our time to go, it's our time to go, and we won't let people down. And a lot of like you said, a lot of people like weak-minded people trying to talk to you and mess you up, and you got the Rutgers on your chest, and you don't just represent Rutgers, but you represent the state of New Jersey, and you don't represent the state of New Jersey, but you represent your last name, and your last name is a big deal, and the Rutgers name on there is a big deal, and the New Jersey is a big deal. And I feel as though that the kids he's recruited and the kids he wants on his team is definitely going to do a great job at that, and they won't let nobody down. And I'm excited to see what we do and win a national championship.
Well said, bro.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna end on that.
All right.
Yep. Jalen, thank you for going all in with us.
Thank you.
So our subscribers, I want you to smash the
pancake.
Pancake that subscribe button.
Pancake that subscribe button. So Jalen, thank you for being our first guest on the Going All In podcast.
That was good.
That was good.
Going all in?
We're going all in.
Going all in.
Yeah.
All in.
All in.
Say it and we'll fade it out.
Yeah.
Going
exactly.
Going all in.
All in.
Echoed.